Okay. For those of you who don't know me, again, I'm Zack. Hi. Catherine and I dated for the last 3.5 years. We met each other right after I moved here. We worked together at Miami U in 2010. I've never been one to be very great with words, so I'm going to try my best to get through this and then do what I'm a lot more comfortable doing. That's sitting behind there and hiding behind that video. So I'll do my best to get through this, and I'll do my best to get through that too. Wanted to start with this. We recently went to a memorial service for a good friend and co-worker of ours, and we had a conversation at that time that said, when it's my time, I want everyone to throw a big party for me, and there has to be queso. And so, yeah, so far so good on that. There is queso here too, if you were wondering. So I distinctly remember the night that I knew Kat and I would end up together. April 9th, 2011. I had a crush on her for a little while. And my band at the time, and I'm still with them, Strawberry Jam, was having a CD release party at Anton's. Not always the most confident person, especially when talking to girls. So I did know one thing. I can be pretty confident when I'm on stage, when I'm in my comfort zone behind the piano. And if I could convince her to come to the show, maybe I could get her to fall. She hadn't come out to one before, and lucky for me, she won a ticket to this one on Facebook, so I didn't have to try and yeah, so I remember playing the show and watching her in the crowd, and if you were there, you know it was a special show, and I was actually, there's a couple videos that we have from it that I'll share in the coming days. You could tell I was getting after it. I was playing on missions. I'll never forget coming to find her after to say hi and seeing the way that she looked at me, and I was pretty sure that my plan had worked. And little did I know at the time she'd already met and quasi-confessed her blossoming love to my parents who were in attendance. That may have been partially due to a couple of adult beverages that were had before that, but it was there. I heard the story. So. Music was obviously at the center of our relationship from the beginning. For the entire month of April of 2011, again, very lucky for me, the city of Austin had pianos placed all around the city. So our first unofficial date was walking around the city and playing a lot of those pianos. And again, it was really lucky for me because I didn't have to talk a whole lot. I could just sit behind that and do what I do. Yeah, so a couple weeks after that, our first official date was again back at Anton's, seeing one of my favorite bands, Soul Live. And I actually went back and found a video from that today too, and I'll try to share that as well. As it's cool to see because that was definitely a special night. I knew it was going to be a great night after the dinner we had at her place, and we were cleaning up after dinner, and we were attempting to, if you've ever shopped at Whole Foods, you know there are paper bags, have 2 paper bags in it. We didn't understand that those weren't meant to be separated, so we were trying to separate them, because then you would have 2 paper bags instead of 1 paper bag. So we're both pulling on both ends of it at the same time, and they do separate. We come to find out as I go flying backwards, she goes flying backwards, and her dishwasher was open, so she literally fell into the dishwasher. And as her roommates know, anyone that's lived there, to this day, that thing makes a really evil, creaking sound when you open it. I was never able to fix it. From that moment, the ice was broken, and we had a great night. I even used an Anton's connection that I had to get on the list so I could feel pretty cool. we went to countless shows all over the country. Stevie Wonder, Jay-Z, String Cheese Incident, Pretty Lights, Nora Jones. I think we went to 3 ACL festivals together. Countless ACL tapings, which I'll have to watch again at some point. She also came to pretty much every show of mine for about 3.5 years, which is probably well over 100. I don't know how she could stand it. It's got to be boring after a little while, but she did it. She was having a good time every time. So I couldn't think of a better way to celebrate her life than to have some of my very close friends, our very close friends, come up here and play music that she loved, that I love, and I think represents us, our relationship, and what she means to everybody here. I want to share a small background on each song and why I picked it, and then I'll sit down over there and stop talking and start playing. So you've already heard Latch by Sam Smith, which is played by the Ruby Jane Band, of whom I played with for a while. Amazing performance of that, by the way. This is a newer song. Kat fell in love with it instantly when she heard it, especially this specific version that they played today, which is an acoustic version. We saw Disclosure, who is the original performer of the song, play this in January at Stubbs. And we actually have tickets, and I have tickets to go see Sam Smith in October. And he'll also be here. So if you're at ACL Festival, come find me. Let's share a moment there with that. This song is obviously just about love and taking it all in, kind of head first plunge, and just going for it, which can be pretty intimidating at times. The second song by Lowell, it was Soul Shine by the Allman Brothers. It was Lowell Carrico, Vince Seidel, and Drew Walker. Very good friends of mine, shared in a couple bands with them. She was a big fan of that song. I was going through her Spotify playlist the other day, and that was one of her started tracks, and we've always listened to that song a lot. And I really love the message of this song, and Lowell hit it on the head pretty well. It's basically just, even in the darkest of times, if everything's going wrong, you just have to let your soul shine through. And we all know that her soul shined pretty brightly, and it still is today. So the song that I am going to play and attempt to sing, many of you know I'm not really a singer. I'm very bashful about it. But this song is called Hearing the Angels by Brothers McCann. A couple months ago, we had the really cool opportunity of having the Brothers McCann stay at my apartment. Good friends of my cousin Casey. They were traveling through town. I said, hey, if they need anything, let me know. So they needed a place to crash. So I took them Lambert's Barbecue, went to their show, we went back to my place, and till about 4 a.m. we played music together. And I very, very bashfully told them that I had learned one of their songs. I was, for whatever reason, embarrassed to tell them. And after a few drinks that we all had, they were over the moon excited to hear that I had learned one of their songs. So we went in there, we played it. I played piano, they sang. One of my good friends, James, played guitar on it as well. And there's a video of that. I don't know, some of you have probably seen it at this point. I'll share that one again at some point. But that's something I will never, ever forget. That was really special, and yeah, anyways, yeah. So the song, and the lyrics again are in the program, but the song is just about having an angelic person here with us on earth. And it's obvious to everyone here that that's exactly what she was. And I actually talked to a couple of the McCann guys after this happened, and they were like, man, we think that this was written for her just years before we even met her. And she made a lasting impression, even in the few hours that they knew each other. So, yeah, lastly, this is the part where I'll probably tear up, but one of my everlasting memories through this whole incident was being at the hospital side with her and singing to her and singing this song and singing other songs and playing guitar with her, to her, until they made me leave the room when they took her. And I know she was listening all along, so thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing all the love the past week and a half, and it's been overwhelming to say the least, and this is incredible. I don't even want to look at everybody before I play because it's really intimidating, but thank you again for everything. I'm going to go play now.